What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is the beginning of your weekend. That's right. It's Friday, the 22nd of 2016, and you're on the backside of your week. That's right. I wanted to put this out for you. Step into that weekend. I hope that wherever you are safe, you are grounded, but more importantly, you're blessed. So it's early in the morning, I'm about to start my day. And, this week has been very, very eventful. And we've had a lot of things occur. And depending on where your perceptions lie and what you find important to you, will also be a reflection of your week. You have those that are embracing the celebration of, well, you have 420. And then the next day, we lost a American icon. We lost a talent that not only impacted music, but impacted the world. And I know that there was a lot of you that had, as you matured, there was a song, a lyric that spoke to you. But what was more surprising as you developed and really started to embrace who you were, you started to listen to the lyrical content and you knew that there was also a spiritual side hidden in every word. So rest in peace, Prince Roger Nelson. Those people that do know me know that I've always been a music connoisseur, and I really believe that as a little boy, I just wanted to be a DJ. Mm, have a love affair for music, and there were only two artists that I, I idolized. I did. Marvin Gaye was one because the fact that he is a product of District of Columbia, and that's home for me. But the other was Prince because my first crush, 16 years old, and I remember the very first time I heard the song So Blue, and I was mesmerized off of his lyrical genius. But it wouldn't be until in my adulthood I would realize by seeing a video that a lot of how he constructed his songs were inspired by Stevie Wonder. So I I'm one of many that spent money and bought up everything he put out. I think I've got about maybe, I'm gonna say about 93% of his catalog I have in mind. And I was very blessed when I was in the service to be able to benefit on a lot of the imports because a lot of the talents, a lot of legends that we admire, to really make their money overseas. And so I'm grateful, and this will be one of those days that you'll look down the road and they'll say, well, where were you when the news came of his passing? I don't know. I don't know about y'all, and this is not about him per se, but I can remember there were certain pivotal moments that I can, in my mind, remember where I was. I remember the news of Tupac's passing, which a lot of people don't know. For a brief moment, I had a chance to meet Tupac. Didn't know who he was. Just so happened the All Eyes on Me album, the guy that was producing it was my neighbor. And just so happened, he was there working on a track. I was like, who's this guy? Well, I would later find out this was a hip hop icon, and that was Tupac. And then, fast forward, the passing of Michael Jackson. And, I know everybody's going to speak on that. As you were younger, you either was about Michael, and then there was those that were about Prince. I happen to admire his work, but I enjoyed it. It wouldn't be till later on I would end up really embracing Michael's talent, especially when he was with his brothers, and I have all his stuff too. But that brings me back to this. It's so important, y'all, that you value time. See the importance of your life. I know you might be in a plateau right now that you may feel, you know what, I'm in some dark stuff, Gerald, and I don't see the end of this because it's too hard, it's too painful, and you may feel stuck. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a firm believer that the moment that you humble yourself, humble yourself, and have that conversation with the Most High, your life will change. But there's a price that comes with it. Oh, yes, because you weren't brought on this planet to live in pain. You wasn't brought on this planet to suffer. You wasn't meant to be the whipping post or the doormat or the disappointment or the butt of someone's joke. That's not your life. That's not your legacy. And I guarantee you, the moment that you give yourself permission to love you, your outlook as you think is permanent will fall like a veil. I know I'm talking to someone. You thinking that the end all be all is the end of that bottle? You think the only time that you have clarity is while you getting high? You popping them pills or you getting zooted, and that's the only time you feel emotionally safe when you're on cloud nine? But you'll come to understand this. The things that you are choosing to not look at will be there when you come down. But guess what? You can come through it. You can get through it. But like I told you, there's a price for that too. And the price is truth. The price is your value, is your worth. I'm not going to sit up here and beat a dead horse because, see, at the end of the day, we're talking about your life. So, guess what? You are in the driver's seat. So, if you're feeling like you're spinning tires and you're not going anywhere, I ask you this, just ground your feet. Take account of what's going on in your environment right now as you speak. Who is in your environment right now? Who has access to you? Who is in your ear? Who has influence? And then ask yourself this: did they earn the right to hear you breathe? Do they spawn inspiration and empowerment? Or are they the poster child for enablement, distraction, and delay? So once again, you are in the driver's seat. This is your life. If anything, think about the value and the worth of your dreams. No one can make your dreams a reality, but guess what? No one can turn around and heal what is broken. But I'll take it a step further. You can't heal something you will not acknowledge exists. So if you are broken, it takes more courage to admit to yourself that there is something that needs some hands-on time, needs some repair, needs to be strengthened up, needs some love, some compassion. Don't you think you're worth it? You may be also seeing this. You may be in a plateau in your life where you just want to be acknowledged. I'm not talking about put on a pedestal, because I know some of y'all have been on that and you like, well, the only thing they value is my backside, not what's in my brain. They only care about what I look like, but they don't care about what comes out my mouth and what I can contribute to. See, the devil's a liar, y'all. That's all about the upper, that's about the utmost bait and switch of your life. Because see, what's at stake once again is your legacy. Because see, that devil knows who you are destined to be, who you want to help inspire. Each one teach one is what they said. So that means you got to do your work. But I'll tell you this though, the people that don't want you to grow are going to be the first ones to tell you, move on. Ain't nothing here to see. But what about this? Is it worth the price of your heart? Is it worth the feeling of being whole? Because I'm going to tell you what, if you're turning around and allowing people to dictate what you see, how you embrace it, and there's no love there, they're fooling you. But here's the travesty in it all too. The people that genuinely love you, they're praying for you. They want to see you make it over the hill. They want to see you make it through that darkness. They want you to win. But the kicker should be, why won't you? What are you afraid of? What you running from? So let's go back to those phases and stages, because you'll also understand when it comes to your life, you are the VIP. It's your perception. So there are going to be many people that are going to come and sniff under your skirt, hold your hand, rub elbows with you, and try to find a means to possess your time. But ask yourself this. You know, we laugh at this all the time. We always hear people say, well, when I'm in situations that I don't understand, ask yourself, what would God do? Well, I can do one better. When you're in a dilemma, when you're afraid, when you feel alone, which you're not, because I tell you, the devil's a lie. He wants you to not become you. He wants your pain. He wants your woes. He wants your burdens to consume every fiber of your existence. He wants you to be stagnant. He wants you to not grow. Why? Because he knows what's at stake. What's at stake is your spiritual position. What's at stake is feeling loved by you. What's at stake is the truth that will come from your testimony because you have made it through. So if you're going through something, if you're frustrated, if you feel alienated, or if you feel like someone has thrown the kitchen sink, ask yourself this: was it worth it? And if it was worth it, where was God in it? Because God is not going to lead you astray. He loved you to create you, and He's going to protect you the moment that you connect with Him. Yes, the price may be you'll have to let some people go. But guess what? I've come to learn sometimes you have to take the high road, the road less traveled, to embrace what you know as home. See, where home is really inside you because everything that you need was given the moment that you took your first breath. But the wisdom of your growth will be the greatest lesson ever because it is the definition of you. It is the makings of what makes you shine. Don't you know the most beautiful thing that you can gaze your eyes upon is a person's smile? So if you're in a place where you have lost your smile, I ask you this. Who took it? Why'd you give it? And what do you need to get it back? Because you deserve to have your moment. God loves you, and you'll come to understand. And I think a lot of people are starting to admit to themselves, and that's why I say this to each and every one of you. Stop worrying about bridges being burned. Stop. Anything that's ordained by God will come to pass with or without your consent. Please believe that. I know we want to always turn around and say, well, that was fate. It just happened. Nothing just happens. How many examples do you have to see to make you a believer that what you saw, that what you felt, that you did not have control of was meant for you? Why? Because God's a custom tailored God. He will use whatever he has to get your attention to let you know how much you are valued. So you're gonna let that person convince you that you're not beautiful. It only matters if you believe it. But if you ground your feet and look within yourself, you'll see not only are you beautiful, but you are one of a kind because God made you priceless. Otherwise, you come on. Ask those people that are blessed to have a twin. They're still unique because they have their own individual spirit, but they have their own individual DNA, but they look the same. Why? Because God don't make mistakes. But see, we excuse me, we're in a crossroads, y'all. We're in a crossroads right now because we're in that season where the devil wants to use everything in in excessive ways, and that's why some of you may have been experiencing this. Because I keep telling you, what the mind can conceive, that'll be your reality. So, in other words, what I mean by is your friends are nothing but a reflection of not only what is found inside you, but also the state of mind that you possess at that moment. So if you have turmoil going on, guess what? Your friends are going to exhibit that. If you have deception in your heart, your friends are going to deceive you. If you have low self-esteem, you're going to have people in your life that are going to do nothing but just disrespect you because you're not loving yourself. How much pain do you have to take? But here's a kicker. Here's a kicker in that. And I made light of it on my last video. My kings, my queens, especially my queens. They don't make a waist trainer for your heart. That's a willful choice to heal it. That means you must invest time. And guess what? Why wouldn't you not invest time in you? You won't find it in that stranger's bed. You will not find it in that stranger's possessions. But here's the kicker in that. Not only are those not yours, but guess what? They're not yours either because you'll also come to find out that was nothing but an illusion too, to distract you more of yourself as well as the things you rightfully deserve. And see, I had somebody tell me this once. They asked, He said, well, Gerald, I acknowledge that I've made some poor choices in my life. I can do that. But why has it gone on for so long? I'm tired. I have built a world that I'm educated, I'm financially sound, but I'm still alone. And all I want is for someone to love me. You know why you're seeing that? Number one, it's because until you make a decision to love yourself, can you be transparent? In the moment that you become transparent, you will become vulnerable to your spirit. So guess what? All the love that's intended for you can actually come in and heal those wounds. You can't fill a bucket that's covered. So how can someone give you love if you don't love yourself within first? I know I'm talking to someone. But see, we live in a world that abundance is strived for, but is never earned. And then they wonder why things fall apart. You have to acknowledge something to fix it. So, so in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is this: you have to stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. Stop living someone else's life. That's why it doesn't fit. That's their life, not yours. And here's the funny thing about it, figuratively. The moment that you decide to be truthful with yourself, you'll actually understand what you were robbing yourself from and where you should have been all along. But see, God knows that. That's why He gave you the two gifts from the moment you took your first breath. One, to unconditionally love yourself, and the other is free will. How can you truly love yourself if you disrespect yourself? You know why people disrespect themselves? It's because they don't see their worth. They let other people define it for them. And like a thief in the night, these people will pretty much tap in until there's nothing there. That's why there's so many people walking around shallow, broken, thinking that life as they know it. This is the best I'm gonna have. Why are you settling? Who told you that? That's why I tell you, queens, kings, stop throwing your money away on those dating sites. Why you do that? God never asked you to bring you your mate. He asked you to prepare for him. I know I'm talking to somebody. And every time you go and say this will be different, I'll take a different approach. I'll pretty much put the clown shoes on to only get hurt more and more. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's why you upset. That's why you think that you're not being heard. Come on now. Come on. Hmm. It's time for you to change the program up and cater to yourself. When's the last time you took yourself out on a date? When's the last time you invested in those hobbies? When's the last time you sat down and wrote your feelings down? All these things are free, like walking in a park. Or just being still in the moment. How about cut this off? Some of y'all can't even admit that you're slaves to technology. You'll come to understand the moment that you decide to claim your life back, you'll put it in its rightful place. It's a tool, not a way of life. But some of us understand that because some of us remember what life was before these and why this was so important. Because without this, you didn't have this, and if you didn't have that, you couldn't express that. But you're gonna be okay. Mhm. You're gonna be fine. So no matter where you are, Just remember, the moment that you put God in front of it, He gonna protect you from the things you don't know and the things you don't see. But I also know this. I know somebody right now is saying, hey, I'm done. You are graduating from a phase that was not healthy for you. And you're starting to take a place of being still and you're assessing, you're looking over your life. I congratulate you. It takes courage to do that. But guess what? Why would it be no other way? We're talking your life. There'll never be another you. So why not invest and be the best you? God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Maybe this is the weekend that you finally come on home back inside that heart and start to heal. You're worth it. Claim your life back. Be blessed.